Hi, my name is Joe Weatherly. Welcome to my studio. This DVD is about animal drawing. Basically, we're going to talk about the principles of animal drawing. How to start a drawing from the foundational approach and work our way into more advanced construction. Anyone wanting to draw animals from life, which is a fairly challenging task because they're moving around, will probably want to arm themselves with some of the principles we're talking about in this DVD. So over the course of the next few chapters, we're going to cover a lot of information. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show, take some notes, and let's learn how to draw animals. Drawing animals from life is important for many reasons, but some include the fact that our eyes are seeing around the entire form of the animal. We're not looking at a flat photograph. We're in front of the animal, we're seeing it in a three-dimensional way. Also, when we're drawing from life, we're seeing how colors and light hit the animals, the color of their pelts, their mannerisms, their character, their movement. You're just being around your subject. When people draw the figure, they're drawing, for the most part, from a live model, so it's no different. You have to get to know what's happening underneath the structure, and drawing from life is it's the standard way to do that. Your drawings are going to look a lot better if you get yourself to the zoo on a regular basis and practice drawing from life. Now, when you're there, you do a number of things, but really what you're doing is sketching. You can do finished drawings at the zoo, but a lot of times, since animals are moving around so fast, you're doing a lot of quick sketching and impressions of the animals. But also, you do a range of things when you're there. You construct animals when you're there, you do gesture studies, you can do color studies, you can do all kinds of things. So, again, along with other things that we're going to talk about in this DVD, drawing from life, very important. Okay, drawing from imagination, very important topic, as important as drawing from life. To be a good artist, you have to have an imagination. That's sort of a prerequisite. But the thing is that a lot of people that want to draw animals want to do things like get into concept art, illustration, fine art, sculpture, it doesn't matter. You can't just look at reference. You have to be able to create from your imagination. And the way to do that is to learn your subject. So actually, when you're at the zoo drawing animals, you are in a sense drawing from your imagination because animals are moving around. So if they're moving around, you're remembering what you know and you're putting that down while you're looking up and checking them for reference. And then you fill it all out and it becomes a drawing. So to be able to get a dynamic composition with animals running or interacting, or a good sculpture or something like that, you're going to have to create this from your imagination. Okay, and the way to do that is to boil animals down into shapes that you can remember. And so learning the anatomy of the animal and learning how to turn the form, draw the animal in volumes and see it from every angle is, it's the way to do it. So that, and in addition to drawing from life, is a great way to build these imaginative skills. To train the visual imagination, it's a good idea to go to the zoo, draw, come home, maybe take out a blank piece of paper, try to remember what you saw. And then that shows you what you know and what you don't know. Practice drawing animals from imagination anytime you can. Really good idea. Sometimes you don't have to go to the zoo and draw. You can just observe animals. And what you're trying to do is pick up on basically their movements and all sorts of things. This thing we call animal character, which is getting personality into your drawing or getting some kind of an emotion, that comes from a lot of observation, looking at animals, checking out their mannerisms, how they move, what's happening to their body as they're moving. When you're looking at animals, really take a look at their skeleton, see what's happening with the whole body as they're moving around. Ask yourself, what's happening to the scapula as the arms move? What's going on with the pelvis? How is it tilting? How does the leg hit the ground and this and that? So other than that, you're really going to check out how the colors of the landscape and how the light hits the animal. So lots of things you can do from just looking at animals. Be very observant when you're at the zoo. Drawing for photographs. Drawing for photographs is definitely something that you want to do if you know how to draw. I mean, the thing is that when you're drawing from a photograph, which is fairly common with wildlife art, sometimes you get a very flat image. The thing just takes and flattens out like a pancake. And the reason is because photographs can distort, photographs can lie about color, they can definitely lie about value. And photographs have gotten better over the years, but there's nothing like having two eyes and seeing around the form. The camera only has one eye, so what it records, it can become flat. So there is a danger in just using photographs alone. On the other hand, if you've already done some homework, you know your subject, you know how to draw from life, you understand some anatomy, then it's perfectly okay to use a photograph for reference. If you sketch all the time from life at the zoo, when you go to use photographs, no one's really going to know or care because it's going to look like you did it from life. And also, DVD is really important. If you can, stop frame DVD, you can break down animal motion. This is a really, really useful tool. So yeah, drawing from photographs and working from DVD is definitely useful. Some people use it way too much, so you want to be careful about that and make sure you're doing your homework. Draw from life and imagination as much as possible. Keeping a sketchbook. Okay, keeping a sketchbook is really important. The more you draw, the faster you get good. There is something to be said about pencil mileage or pen mileage. You have to be willing to go through a lot of paper to get to the drawings to the point where they have a lot of authority. So the best way I can think of to do that is to keep a sketchbook and take it with you everywhere you go. Draw people, draw animal, draw plants, landscapes, anything organic. Definitely draw from your imagination within your sketchbook. The thing you want to do is keep it and know it's sort of like your personal diary, recording your artistic journey through life. And now what I want to do is go through a series of my own sketches that I've done on location at various zoos. And in this, you're going to see different kinds of mediums you can use, and what kind of situations can come up while you're using a sketchbook. Here's a page of black jaguars I did at the San Diego Zoo. What I'm looking for when I'm doing something like this is just quickly capturing the animal's movement, and sometimes I'll develop the drawing a little further. So, in the sketchbook, I'm using various mediums, and that's what I'm trying to show here. I like to go back and forth between a toned sketchbook and a white sketchbook. Sometimes I'll bring colored paper as well. Something I like to use quite often is just a black ink pen. This is a Uniball fine point, and I draw directly, no underdrawing. And in these sketchbook pages, you'll see a lot of underdrawings and drawings through, no erasers. Just trying to work in this book and correct things as I go. Continued here are more black jaguars. These are actually done at the Cat House in California. This is what I consider more of a developed drawing. So you have some small movement gestures in here, just getting acquainted with the shapes of the cat in various sitting positions. And then a larger, more developed drawing, and this is probably as far as I usually take the development of a drawing on location. Just try to get the form down and, render some of the planes and model it a little bit. Always doing studies. When I'm studying an animal, I like to work with all the different components. This is a page of chimpanzee feet. I was asked to give a lecture on chimpanzees somewhere, and I had to ramp up on the various parts of the animal. And it doesn't matter what your animal is, or even in figure drawing, you want to, your head, hands, and feet are very important. So you want to make sure you're doing studies of every body part on the animal, not just the face, not just the torso. This is, black Uniball pen on tone paper. And this is a continuation of that, just trying to figure out how the arms and the hands work on this ape. A little bit of a juicier pen. We have a runnier Uniball pen. It's blue ink. And, it's very direct. It gives you a nice confident line, ink is very unforgiving. You can't erase it. What you put down is what you get. And if you start using ink instead of pencil, it teaches you how to become a very good draftsman, because you have to be direct in the fact that there's no going back. But you can learn how to caress the ink pen softly, lay your drawing in, and then go in with more finished lines to get some dynamics in the sketch. Here's a page of drafts I did on some brown tone paper. And this time I'm actually going over my ink drawings with some gouache and transparent watercolor. So it's a choice I make. When I'm out there, if I think I want to add some color to the animal, if I feel like breaking it out, I'll do that with either watercolor, gouache, or sometimes markers. And I think it really adds a lot of zest to the drawing, so it makes your sketchbook more interesting to look at. You get some variety in textures, and a page with some animals that were done just in ink and some that have color. So it's a good thing to do. Same thing here with the watercolor and white gouache. This is the guanaco done at the Santa Ana Zoo. There is, a choice to be made here. Do I want to keep them as ink drawings, or do I want to go back later and add some color to them? And sometimes I'll do just transparent watercolor over the drawings. Sometimes I'll put a little gouache in there to get more of an opacity. Here's a study of horse heads. And actually, there's some figures thrown in here too. I think I just was using up some white paper that I had already done some life drawings on, and took this to the stables. So one of the greatest things about drawing at the stable is that the horses don't move around too much when they're in a pen, and you can get nice close-ups of their heads, body parts. When you're filling up a sketchbook, sometimes it's good to use the real estate of the page to overlap drawings, let them go through each other. This is, again, a personal diary of what your thoughts are. So a good mixture of subject matter and also overlapping drawings looks good on a sketchbook. This is black ink on white paper. Kangaroo studies done from life. This is basically, another head study page, but what I'm doing here is getting more into a gestural approach and also taking some degree of finish and adding some of the features into the head. So this is, just another idea of how you can get good composition on your page, because you have different sizes. You have a few small heads, a medium one, and a couple larger ones, including the torso. So it's a good way to design pages in your sketchbook. These lemurs were a lot of fun to draw. Basically just drew them in black ink pen and went back with some Prismacolors, in this case just some blue, gray, and white, and added some touches to it. I mean, you're basically coloring your drawing. This is not really a painting, but it adds a lot of zest to the page. And this, by the way, works really well on brown tone paper. More tone paper drawings with Prismacolor and also a little bit of ink wash. This was actually laid in with a fountain pen with red ink, and some washes were put over that. And then I took a white Prismacolor and sort of added some, touches to some of the drawings and filled in more because these are polar bears, and, it just gives you a quick color note that you're dealing with a white animal. This is another page of studies, in this case tigers. Got a couple things going on here. I have some forearm and paw studies with some heads. Again, just to repeat the important, lesson, head, hands, and feet are very important to study. Paws are difficult to draw. If you're going to do cats, you got to know what they look like from the bottom and the top. Anyways, again, this is some black Uniball ink pen on just a white papered sketchbook. And then if you're willing to take a little bit of equipment out to the zoo, watercolor makes a very expressive medium. These were lightly laid in with a pencil, possibly a ballpoint pen, and then just filling it in with light washes of watercolor, trying to get some light and tone in there. And for the background, just some abstract colors to pop the animals forward.